Welcome to the Small Business Show Mastermind edition. My name is Swire, the promo guy. Today, our expert will be Mike Castiglione from Sandler Training, digital marketing expert, Shannon from DigitalFaces Marketing. And our guest today is Lynne-Anne McGrail, a certified end-of-life doula. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
Lynne-Anne, can you please give us a quick bio and obviously talk about your profession as an end-of-life doula?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'd love to ask, have any of you heard of an end-of-life doula before?
No.
This is why I'm on the show right now. I got to find out how to educate people about what I do. Well, like Swire said, my name's Lynne-Anne McGrail. I'm an end-of-life doula. And what that is it's like the opposite end of life when you hear of a birthing doula. You've all heard of a birthing doula. Maybe not. Shannon's got that question mark on his face.
I'm not sure if I have.
It's a person at the end of life. And what a doula is, it's a Greek word that means the non-medical professional that provides emotional, spiritual, and physical support for a person either giving birth to a baby or giving birth to death, if you don't mind me saying it like that. And what I do is I'm come on board with the families and a person who's been diagnosed terminally ill and provide that emotional support, provide that spiritual support and physical support as well. And oftentimes what I'm doing is addressing the number one thing around death, and that's the fear of death. And so really being able to educate them, advocate for them, and let them know that this is a very natural process of living, right? We're all going to die. It's 100% guaranteed. And so coming to that place where we can not accept it as in like, oh, okay, fine, death is going to happen, but to get a peace of mind around it. And when we have that peace of mind around it, then we can have a much more graceful transition as we leave our physical bodies and move on. And so I'm meeting the families where they're at. I come and sit with them bedside. I offer respite for the family giver, the caretakers, and the families that are taking care of the loved one. And that way, that person can go and just get recharged and come back and continue taking care of their loved ones. And I bring to the table a lot of my own personal experience around death. You know, I have my master's in spiritual psychology. I've been a life coach. I've been an interpreter for the deaf for over 30 years. And I think a culmination of all of those is all about serving. And this is my way of showing up on this planet, is serving in this way. It's really fulfilling my purpose here. And so my biggest challenge, though, is getting out to the world what it is that I do, because people haven't heard of an end-of-life doula, okay? So that's why I'd love to tap into the brains that we have here to, educate me and other end-of-life doulas and how to get us out there. So my main demographic of people are obviously going to be the older generation, the baby boomers like myself who have aging parents that are getting more and more sick and want to die at home. And because they want to die at home, they need more support. And so any suggestions on how to target that group of people?
Quick question for you, Lynne-Anne, before I know Shannon want to jump in. Would the client be reaching out, or, like you said, aging parent, would the child be reaching out? Like, who normally reach out to you for service?
Yeah, usually the caregiver, okay. The family member, rarely the terminally ill person, because they're so absorbed in what's happening with them. And the person who's providing the support is like feeling completely
So never from the end client?
Never. It's never, but they do reach out if they don't have family members around, if they live on their own and they need some extra support, sure, they'll definitely reach out. So, but typically it comes from the caregiver.
Got it. So that's pretty much your target market, right? Is the caregiver?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. And how many caregivers do you know right now?
That I'm working with?
Yeah.
I'm working with four of them.
Okay.
They're all my age. Like they're all in their 50s and 60s. They're taking care of their parents, mostly. One's taking care of an aunt. And they're at home And yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the ways, I mean, honestly, look at this show as an example, creating content based off of what your end consumer wants to see. The best way to do that is to interview your end consumer. Because once you do that, they're not only going to tell you about their successes, but they're also going to tell you about their hidden challenges that other caregivers probably are not voicing, but they also have the same issues, right? So even, I mean, and I know people are like, oh, it might be complicating, but creating a show, something like this, even if it's a Zoom show, right? And saying, hey, I want to interview these caregivers, and I want to interview you so you can help other people out there. What are you guys going through? What do you see are challenges right now in your industry? Working together, what have you found of value, right, that other caregivers could listen to? And then you take little snippets of that, and now you're broadcasting that as an added benefit and as added service. And another caregiver can see that and be like, man, I see myself in this person. Let me reach out to them and see what we can do. So on a branding and marketing perspective, integrate your target market into your branding, right? So that way, they're actually seeing themselves in whatever promotions that you're doing too, right? And testimonials too. I think obviously this is very tough, right? Especially this, and I'm not sure, and you can probably educate me on this, but maybe after the process is done with that loved one, right? And they're on the other side, when time has gone by, maybe a past client of last year, you can say, hey, I'd love to get a testimonial. Give me your experience of your relationship with death after this loved one. Maybe even talk about their memories with them and what you loved about them, because what you want to do is you want to get your content on your past clients' timeline. And how can you do that? By involving them in the content itself. So that's it's like a Trojan horse.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a great suggestion. And I really love that idea. I do have testimonials from the son of one of my patients that posted it on my website and that kind of thing. And also the patient herself has given me a testimonial. My question to follow up with that, so I gather up these interviews, and where's the best place to market it? And is there a specific time and day that's better than other times and days? Like I heard that Tuesdays at 1:00 is when most people are looking at their phone or they're on the internet, or that seems to be the time that most people would see something that I would put out there. Do you have any data on that?
Yeah, a lot of people talk about time on social media, when in reality, I think the first step is making sure you get consistent content out there. It might be, Tuesday mornings are great, but it doesn't matter if you're posting at least 2-3 videos a week, right? You're going to catch everyone at some point if you're being consistent with it. And how do you broadcast it? I would say start building, on a personal level. If you want to do a personal level, it's really easy as far as, hey, how do I add my caregiver vendors or affiliates or partners as personal friends on Facebook and personal connections on LinkedIn? And then when I integrate them into the show, I'm going to tag them so that way all their friends see what I'm posting. And then you can even go into their friends list and start adding other caregivers that are in their network. Because the first thing people look at when they're looking at who's adding them as a social media friend or as a Facebook friend is how many mutual friends do we have, right? If it's 0, you're that creep. Like, why are you adding me? I don't know you, right? If you have at least 1, 3, 4, 5, right? Your whole goal is, how can I be the only person of what I do in their friends list, right? And how can I build my friends list? Because I think you're still capped out at 5,000 friends on Facebook. So let's say you have 1,000, 2,000 friends, family, other people, and then that leaves you 3,000 slots to add caregivers, right? If you had 3,000 caregivers as personal friends on Facebook, seeing content of you interviewing, different caregivers, how could you lose at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Shannon. It's less about the exact time of the day and more importantly, the consistency and coherency of your messaging.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to keep the brand consistent. So for example, if you're focusing on your business and then you kind of mix it in personal stuff, which might be puppy pics or politics, to keep your brand coherent so that people know, like if you're posting 2 to 3 times a week, set that number because it's having that message on a regular basis. And I agree with Shannon. Like if you're not already in like caregivers groups, and there's so many groups and accountabilities out there, if you're not active on those chats, then I think that's a huge missed opportunity for you from a Facebook perspective. I know the boomers are on Facebook, but don't forget about LinkedIn. And you're probably not going to find like we've kind of established, you're not going to find your end consumer on LinkedIn, but you're definitely going to find caregivers. And to me, I think that's going to be your best strategy, is becoming a valued consultant. Going what Shannon said in his previous statement is creating a support group with caregivers, with anyone on a regular basis, bi-weekly, monthly, weekly, whatever you want to do. Start with 4 or 5 people, start with a round table, and then get that growing. So you can put snippets of that in your message. You can put snippets of testimonial. And then you're talking about education. Like, where's a better place to educate people than in a round table? So having those conversations and being that thought leader is incredibly important right now, because times are different. Like some people are now a little bit more online during the day than they used to be. Some people are a little more online at night. It's hard to figure out that exact time. They say Thursday, but I don't know. I've had mixed reviews, mixed results with the exact time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And think of these, let's say if you were to do a show, think of it as leverage to get in front of the door, right? So even if it's, hey, after I've interviewed the 4 caregivers that I have as personal friends, then you can go, let's say, like, hey, I've been always wanting to work with this company. Let me go on LinkedIn, find out who's the point of contact and say, hey, I'd love to interview you on your successes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have this podcast, and now you have past content that you can show this person, and it's on your social media profile, right? And now it's leverage to just have a meeting with them. And when you're interviewing them, obviously you're getting to know them. And at the end of the conversation, that's an open door for you to say, hey, this is also what I do. So look at it as a foot in the door, because everyone, wants and needs content.
Lynne-Anne, have you done a quick search on caregivers in your area?
I have not. I've done end-of-life doulas. I've done death cafes. I've done always the end product, but not the person who's actually the one that's hiring me. So that's actually a really, really good idea.
As Shannon was talking, I did a quick search in the West LA area, and I found 4 or 5. So it's like 24-hour caregiver. There's AGL. There's like 4 or 5 right here. And a good homework assignment would be just get their number, give them a call, see if they want to have a 10, 15-minute conversation just to connect, see how they're doing during these times, see how, I know that it's really tough if they're getting in and out of elderly homes, if they're looking to place, just creating those strategic partnerships right now, because it is so tough, because with everything that's going on, they're a very susceptible population. So they're extra precautions.
Mm-hmm.
Educate yourself, and then also you can educate them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lynne-Anne, I wanted to tie all this in together because I've known you for a few years. So you're a life coach. So
Yes.
That you have your client base, and now you are a certified life doula. And then, like you suggest, you are actually you offload a lot of work when the caretaker brings you in to the picture to help the end client. Mm-hmm. So I would just tie it all in. So people reach out to you as a life coach to try to get better life, try to have a meaningful life. And then you actually extend your service. So when you are at the end of your life, you can gracefully, peacefully make that transition. That's hence your, the name of your company, Peaceful Transition LA. So you're making it from not only that you're targeting the end user, so you can actually guide them through their life process. And with your help, you can find the meanings of your life. And then at the end of your life, you can actually, go peacefully and, not have to have people worry about you. You actually have it set. You're peaceful. So they're emotional, obviously, but then you have everything take care of. So you can also think of yourself as a conduit for networking. What that means is during the life, when they're in business, when they're working at their golden year, you can refer them to a sales coach, or you can refer them to a digital expert when they're in the business. So at the end of the life, and you can refer them to estate planning attorney, maybe financial advisor, caregiver, anything in between. So you become a magnet for all that business. So what you're trying to do, you're creating referral partners. So I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, for your industry, people will more likely to go out to you from a referral. They will probably not likely to do like a Google search for NL5 Doula. So I think referral, the conversion rate in the sales term will be a lot better than Mike, jump in if you like. Like, I wouldn't imagine that you'll be doing a sales call. Like, you do follow-up calls, you check in with a client. So like, Mike, jump in real quick. Like, how would you balance that? Obviously, I want to talk to you about the sales funnel, right? That's, things that you teach people how to do. Like, how would that work for LynneAnnes Profession?
I agree with you. In fact, I've already written down 3 people I want to connect you with, because they deal with people during that time period, whether they place elderlies, financial advising for things of that nature. And Swire's right. It's, if I'm struggling with, moving on, passing, that's a hard, like, what do I do? I don't know. I'm normally frozen or stuck. Having a vast network that Shannon was talking about of people who understand who you are and what you do, when they have personal people and or professional clients in that situation, you become top of mind. That's really important. Are you gonna be cold calling those who are sick? That's kind of creepy, like waiting outside like the hospital scene when people are coming and going, and kind of, no, we're not gonna do that. You're not gonna be cold calling your end client, but you could be cold calling caregivers, and you could be cold calling, strategic partners, not in the sense of you're trying to sell something, but you're trying to create a relationship. And when you're trying to create a sales funnel, I agree with what you're saying, is more relationships and education during the process is incredibly important. Because let's be honest, just because you know someone, they might not have a clue what you do or what you really support with. And, they might think, end of life doula, oh, they just really help place someone. Or no, it's a coaching concept. It's a spiritual connection. It's a much more deeper journey than, maybe like the end of rites that are getting read to them. So that's what they're familiar with. So having a vast network, especially with those who work with humans later in life, would be great connections.
Hey, Shannon, I have a question for you. For LynneAnnes Profession, what do you think about video marketing? Would you advise video marketing, or should you doing blogs, or should you do a combination of each? I
was actually just thinking about this, and I'm glad you said something, Swire. I think with video, obviously, I think one of the ways is, like we said, interviewing caregivers, and that could be a simple Zoom call that you guys record, right, and go live. But I want to give you a short story to give you a paradigm on how to do video marketing. Back when I was selling candy in middle school, I changed middle schools, and I knew no one. I was not known as the candy man. So for a whole week, I gave away a piece of candy to everyone I knew in this new school. I was like, you know what? I don't know anyone. Let me give out a free piece of, hey, here you go. Here's a Snickers bar. Here's a Twix. Here's this. Here's that, for a whole week. The next week, everyone came back and like, oh, I want another one. It's like, okay, now here it's $1. So I would position your video marketing like the free candy. And what I mean by that is, if you had an audience of people that need your services, what would you tell them right now? What they're going through. If it's, hey, is your mom showing these 3 signs of fading away? Here's what I would do if I was in your position. It's free candy that you should not ask for anything for, but you want to position yourself as the expert, and video marketing will help you give away and let them test drive your expertise. Right? That's what it's going to do. And if they like, wow, I actually resonate with that. And it's like honey, right? It's like, throw away these pieces of content out there that's, is valuable, 1 to 2 minutes long, but will resonate with them. And again, it's you're not selling, you're just saying, hey, you know what? Here's something that I know if you're in this position will help you out tremendously. And eventually people are going to know you as that person, right? To go.
So they're short. It's only like 1 or 2 minutes, you said.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 minutes of, hey, again, it's a little piece of candy, right? It's consumable, but at the end, if they need that service, they're gonna want more. And you can just say, hey, if you want more information, here's my Calendly link. Schedule a free consultation with me. So that way, the digital sales funnel would be a free piece of content that will inspire the right consumer to just want more, and that's a free consultation. That consultation can then lead into a trial period or whatever your thing is, and then that's when you take off with it. Right?
I will forever call you the candy man from here on out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hashtag candy man.
That's how my entrepreneur journey started. But yeah, it's basically that's what content is, right? It's a way to give people little bits of value, and that's what I mean by value. Is you don't want to say, hey guys, here's 4 tips, call me. It's no, hey, if you're in this position, here's exactly what you need to know. If in order to help you out, and then if they need more, they'll go.
Yeah, a quick question about the comparison between posting blogs and doing newsletters and the written content as opposed to videos. Do you think videos is a better use of my time? Because all of this is very time consuming. So trying to capitalize on what's going to be the best, return for me. So should I really focus more on creating content for videos and less on the blogs? Or
let me ask you this then, are you more of a writer?
I tend to be, but now with this COVID thing, I've become this like the Zoom queen of America. Like I'm always on.
Well, and then you're a great public speaker. I've heard you talk multiple times before. You drawing people in, and a couple of minutes in, and I know your talk is like 5 minutes. Then we want it more. So definitely, you are comfortable in front of the camera. You can talk. You have the voice that drawing people in. So it depends on your schedule, really.
If you're a writer, what I would do is write out a blog, right, of whatever the subject that inspires you, right? Like, hey, transitioning a parent or whatever. Here's what I could do, right? And usually a blog has 5 or like 3 to 5 points, main points, right? Take each point and make a little video out of it, right? So write it out, and then because if you're naturally a writer, it's going to come out more freely, right? Writing, and then look at that and say, okay, each point I'm going to make a little video out of, and and then you can say, here's a link to read more about it, right? And that way now one blog turned into 4 videos or 5 videos, right? So if you say, hey, I'm going to create a blog, and then now I'm going to create 2-3 different video snippets for each one of the points I made in my blog. Right?
Yeah.
You go back on that using technology, because I talk, but I couldn't write. So Facebook just came out with a new technology. Actually, for this show, I could click a button. They could actually transcribe what we're talking right now into words. So by doing the show that you have, you can actually use that. Obviously, to fix, like my accent, so some words come out crazy. So, but you can fine tune it. Then you have your blog by video. So it just depends on what worked best for you. So from Shannon's example, write blogs and then come up with the video, or you speak first and then make that into a blog.
I love that idea. You'll have to share how to do that after the show.
And to answer your initial question, the answer is 100% do video. So they did a study in comparison of websites, those who had videos on them and those who did not. And those who did had 85% more business. So people are more apt to click a video than they are to read a blog. So not that they aren't, it's much more accessible. If you can it's much more passive that the consumer wants to do it. And like Shannon said, you can get a couple of them, and then boom, you've got 4 weeks worth of material in an afternoon.
Yeah.
And then for scheduling, go ahead.
And just if you're gonna do video, be careful that if you're gonna post like a video on your website, make sure that that's professionally done and looks nice and clean and neat. If you're going to do like a video, like a vlog, you can do that just like we're doing here, and you can record yourself from your desk, and you can have it a little bit more self-made. Because what you don't want to do is have like a self-made video that might have like a little like pixelation, like my camera's not perfect. I don't want that on the front of my website because it doesn't coincide with your brand. So just be careful. The difference between posting on social media and posting on your website is a little bit different.
Okay, that's really good to know.
And I think another way to do, if you are going to reach out for a caretaker, and Mike's going to give you homework at the end of the show, do reach out to the caretaker. Go to the referral partner that sends you business right now. Ask them question. What do you want to know more about end-of-life doula? Ask them what question they have about you. And then the video title that you have can be addressing that as a video on your blog post. What is end-of-life doula? What do they do? How can an end-of-life doula help me? So it could be a blog post, and when I go for a search on Google, those question type, search come up first. Think of the topic in terms of a question. So these are probably what people will do. Maybe you're referred by someone, then I will Google right away. What does an end-of-life doula do? How can an end-of-life doula help me? Things like that. That will be immediate topic that you can address.
And then you put in your question that you sent us how long is you absolutely need them under 3 minutes. So 60 seconds or less is ideal. Okay. So that if you can keep them under 60 seconds, that's where you're gonna get the most hits. If you can't, it's like a longer one, it's just so much information. Anything more than 3 minutes, you're gonna lose any commitment. So 60 seconds or less is what you wanna keep it to. Short, clean, neat. I know Shannon and Swire, they both take this morning and they cut it down into 2 minutes. So you can take 30 minutes and can make it down into under 2 minutes. So it's easily done. So it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. And Shannon, you were going to talk about scheduling?
I think it depends on how your schedule works, but one of the ways I've seen it done, and I've done it too in the past, actually I have to do it now, but is if you want to do something that's weekly, maybe take 1 or 2 days out of the month and record 1 to 2 videos, right? And then have them scheduled, right? So you have your content days, right? Just like you should have, right, a day for follow-up calls and sales, a day for obviously your clients. You should have a content day where, like, today I'm just going to create a couple videos, and especially if I love your background, so you could, I'm going to change my shirt for each video, have a couple different shirts. Who's going to tell the difference, right? And now I batched out at least 2 to 4 videos ahead of time. So guess what? If I'm sick, if I'm busy, no worries. I already have one of my videos ready to go. So that way, it's already batched up. So maybe you can have a content day where you're going to record a couple videos, right? Have them edited, and then boom, shot out.
Yeah, that's great. I can't tell you how helpful this is, you guys. I mean, these are my notes right here. Okay, I mean, it's really, really helpful. And I'm excited. I'm super excited to do this.
We love it. We love when there's some takeaways and excitement, but we always like to give a homework assignment. So what's 1 to 2 things that, based on what myself, Shannon, Swire said, that you can go do and that you're going to commit to?
I'm going to Google in the Los Angeles area, caregivers, number one, and reach out and have a conversation with them. Maybe set up some one-to-ones with them. And then I'm going to make a video. I just did a newsletter, and it's got 3 beautiful points on there. I'm going to make a video for each one of those points. And, I got my nice black shirt on today. I might just do that right after this call.
Yeah, I love it.
So those are 2 things that I'm going to do right away. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Lynne-Anne, for sharing. Thank you, Shannon, for all the wonderful news. And Mike, I know that you could spin it, and fit that into your sales funnel. If viewers out there who are small business owners who have a question like Lynne-Anne, who wanted to come onto the show, we do this Mastermind edition every first and third Friday at 10 a.m. So if you want to do, reach out to me, follow us on YouTube and Facebook, reach out to us. We have our expert on again to help you to grow your business. Thank you all, guys. It was nice having you all today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.